Hey guys, happy Christmas for those who celebrate, and happy New Year as well. Welcome, guys. I'm the CEO of Orukka. Orukka is a smart payment ring. I want to talk about why Aura should not do payment rings, why your Tesla, for those who support Tesla, your electric cars, should not do phones, right? And why your phone manufacturer should not do rings. And then your ring manufacturer should not do payment rings. And also on the payment side, or as cheap as it gets. I want to talk about that because people, obviously working with a ring, it's a great view, by the way, guys. We've been blessed with the sun today, so it's really good. It's not always like this. But I think the idea, what we wanted to find out, right, is a lot of people come to me and say, hey, I wonder when Apple are going to do this health rings. It's going to be so cool. And I try to explain to them, it's not that way. It's not that simple for Apple to do. Same thing as well, people look at Elon Musk and go, hey, imagine if Tesla had a phone. I'm going to buy it because Tesla phone will be just phenomenal, crazy. It's going to be better than Apple. No, it won't. I'll tell you why, okay? So let's start with the simple ones, right? So your car manufacturer, I'll start my way from top to bottom, okay? So let's start with the car manufacturer. The car manufacturer is basically, Elon Musk. Elon Musk comes in one of the top ones, okay? Well, it could be any. Pick Mercedes, right? Pick BYD. Pick any of the top car electric manufacturers, okay? Because they're the top here. Now, those guys come in, what they do is you pay for the car up front, okay? So they've got manufacturing cost, okay? Now, you pay for their cars up front of a lot, about sometimes, again, minimum, you know yourself, a Tesla is about 38,000, okay? Minimum dollars. And they could be different countries as well, have different pricing. But the point is you're paying for everything up front, okay? And sometimes you actually order the car months in advance. So you go in, you order the brand new car, okay? And they go ahead, they build the car based on your money that you've given them 6 months in advance. Recall when Tesla was going to start up with the Cybertruck, failed, but they got deposits from people. That deposit, right, the small deposit that they got was actually enough to build the car. So they build the car based on deposits. And then anything more than that is margin, the distribution costs and things like that is what they add on top, right? So think about that. So imagine if now Elon Musk, you pay him up front for your car, okay? And he's got so much money. Now he turn around and then he wants to offer you a phone. How are you going to pay? How many months in advance are you going to pay for that phone? Not a lot, right? And that's the problem. So Elon Musk, again, he would gladly sell you a phone, but you will not pay for it. That's the point. Tesla phones already, its car is enough to actually go buy. So the Tesla phones, I can tell you, they're going to lose money immediately, straight off the bat, okay? Because that would mean they have to put their own cash up front, which car manufacturers don't want to do. They would rather take money off you from the deposit and go ahead and fund the rest from the bank. Okay, so that's why they won't do that. But take it down to Apple. Now, Apple have a phone, okay? So they do that. Now, everybody knows this. If you go online and check this, right? Just search how much does it cost to produce a phone, an iPhone. It's next to nothing. It's not the 1,100 you're paying, okay? I've looked at numbers. There's anything between $100 to $200 on the high end, okay? And they do it for cheaper, so because they've got the volume, okay? So my point then is those guys, you're paying just a small fraction, and you're paying upfront in terms of margins. So that's the other point. They will not go ahead and then spend for a ring, which a ring I can tell you. So a ring, how much is the most expensive health ring from Oura? $499. That's nothing to them compared to a phone of $1,200. They make a lot of money from there compared to going down to sell your ring. Let's go down the level then to Oura. Oura, Galaxy Ring, Ultra Human, all these health rings. So the health rings, what do? They sell you a health ring which just monitors vitals. That's it. So it has a vital, a pulse taker, and looks at the oxygen level, looks at sleep level, sleep patterns, and monitors that. Now imagine how much that's $499, which is nothing to Apple, okay? But to these guys make a lot of money from it. That you can go online right now and search, go to Alibaba and search health rings Alibaba. You're going to see it's $25. It's next to nothing to create these things. $25, $50, depends on the volume. Aura, they're selling in hundreds of thousands, so they're getting it for cheaper. Right? Now, if they come out with that cheap amount, they're not going to turn around and then go for payment rings because they're already making so much money, so much margins on your health rings that they sell to you. Okay, so that's something to watch out for. Let's go one level down to us then. So our rings, again, I can tell you right now, the MasterCard rings, so these all have, this is a blingy one, okay? But I have the ceramic ones, black, white, gold, silver, the whole lot. But what this does is this has a MasterCard chip in the middle in here. This MasterCard chip, again, they make most of the money. I don't want to tell you guys the margins, but it's really high. Between $30 to $40, I can tell you. Sometimes $50 on MasterCard, because they're the main you're using their payment rails, it's called. You're using their rails. You're making transactions through them in the shop. So they take most of it. The rest then goes into the margin so that you go into the ring manufacturer costs and things like that. It's really small. Average of this is about 150 on the high end, okay, for the ceramic rings. The stones on these are the expensive part, right? So if you put a stone on it, we do diamonds, we do gemstones, we do a lot of these, right? So if you do that, that's the expensive part. But the MasterCard side is just normal, just simple MasterCard. Yeah. So if you do that, again, how much are you making from that? Not a lot. So that's why you're not going to see Oura anytime soon going into a payment ring, because how much is the payment? How much is it going to cost? Because when it gets into payment, what do? You start looking into MasterCard. You start looking into banks because you need to pay them, right? Compared to the health ring. Health rings, they just put a vital on there and that's it, done. They don't have to do anything. They're not sharing their revenue with anyone compared to others. The other point I want to talk about again, which people don't realize when they say people should, your manufacturer, your favorite brand should do other things, is the evaluation is based on that. So I'll go to Elon Musk because he's the easiest. If you look at Tesla, Mercedes, any of those guys, Audi, the evaluation is based on vehicles, right? So the vehicles they manufacture, the number they sell is what matters. Maybe the data, but data is a side revenue for them. The cars is what's the revenue. Again, I've talked about at the start in terms of the margins they get from cars. The amount of money they get up front, the amount of profits they sell on these things is crazy, such that there's no point them going ahead and then putting another revenue line in there that's so tiny. That's why you never see Tesla coming out with a phone, because the revenue is so small and the valuation, I mean, last time we checked, valuation was 5 trillion. So 5 trillion on a car, and then you want them to get like, maybe 1 million, if at all, on a phone? No, they won't. Same thing with Apple. Apple have talked about the revenue line, right? So they're predominantly judged. Their major revenue line are two things, actually. So there's one, the phones, which is the big part. The phones, the iPad, things like that, the machines are big, which is hardware. Then they have the software. Again, software is 30% in terms of their revenue line. That's nothing. And they turn ahead and you want them to then do payment or health rings, if at all. Even the health ring to Apple is really cheap, because the health ring means that they need to go down one level to $500, and the margins on those things are very low to Apple, considering the margins on the phone or the laptop. But that's why you're not going to see them go for health rings, because it's just too expensive. Well, and some people said, can Apple do the payment ring? Apple would do the payment ring. I would love them to do the payment ring, but they won't. Why? Because of the regulations. So if you go ahead, Apple tried this. I think they tried to do the Apple Card, if everyone remembers this, the Apple Card, Apple Credit Card and all that. It didn't take 2 minutes to realize the margins are nothing, because the banks are going to come after you. The regulators are going to come after you. You have to be regulated in every market that you're selling these things at, so that there's almost no money to these guys, so that they turn around and just give it to a bank and say, okay, one bank should take it. So I think if I remember, Apple Pay, they went for, the Apple Card. They went for Goldman Sachs. Even Goldman Sachs thought the money was rubbish and they pushed it on to JP Morgan now, I think. But let's see who gets it at the end of the day. But the contract is nothing to them in terms of the revenue line. That's why you would never see these guys go for that, okay? And then obviously, just so you know, they don't care about customers clearly, otherwise it's about the revenue, right? And then the same thing as well with Oura. So if we go down to one level down, which is Oura, Ultra, Human, what do you call the other guys? Galaxy again, they look at phones, okay? So they were, I'm not going to call it greedy, but they went a bit greedy by going on the health rings, okay? But here's the point. The health rings to them was just an accessory, okay? And in fact, they lost the battle with Oura as well to sell in the US. So don't be surprised if they stop, catering for those things in the future, because it's an accessory that's just almost nothing to them in terms of the margins. That's why you're never going to see them, at least, Galaxy fighting going to payments. Because again, similar to these things, payments are expensive to put together. The regulation, the compliance, things like that is just a joke to them that they'd rather not even go near that route. Same thing, Oura, same thing. They're doing so well on the health ring. If you took a typical health ring, I try to simplify it a lot, but it's the truth, right? It's simply health, right? So I can pick up a health ring and I can order it in, I can order in the US, and I can come here and I can put on that same health ring and I'm done. That's it. You do nothing. That's all you've done. You just order the health ring, you configure it to your body, and that's it. So humans are the same all over the world. But you can't do that with a payment ring. A payment ring, you can't just go from the US and then go into Canada or go into US or go into UK or Nigeria or South Africa, wherever, and use the same payment ring. It's not going to work. You have to go into every bank one by one and try and use those payment rings across and get regulation on all those countries. Work with different banks, different currencies, KYCs, which is almost not impossible, but it's a pain for a typical person that just sells a ring. I mean, Oura right now, they just sell a ring. That's all they do. Sell a ring, and that's all you do. So that's important to look at. And then lastly, then obviously is us, right? So we do payment rings because, not because of the margins or because of our background. So again, I'm a banker, but most of us are bankers. So banking as a ring is different from health rings. Very different. Even though it looks the same, you're wearing it on your fingers. But the difference is if you're wearing a health ring, who's going to steal your health ring? It's $400, $500. Okay, but when you take it, what happens? You put it on your finger, and then that's nothing. The risk or security associated with that is almost negligible compared to a payment ring. So if this goes missing, there's money on this, right? So that becomes important. The guys can claim it back, or if it's lost as well, if there's fraud on it, they claim it back as well. So there's KYC, there's anti-money laundering, there's a lot of checks you need to do on these things, which is very different in terms of a skill set to the CEO of a health ring that all they did was sell health rings. So very different dynamics, which people don't understand. I know it's a ring, people look at it as a ring, but the important thing is the skill sets are very different in terms of these people. The margins are very different. And then I hope they do it. That's the point, because nothing stops Tesla from getting up tomorrow and doing a health ring. They could do it. Nothing stops Tesla from doing a payment ring. They can. But there are two things there, which I've just said. The margins are just almost nothing to them, that I don't see them doing it. I hope they do it because that helps us. So we're a small fintech. I say small, but we're in 25 countries already and we're growing. But the other point then is it's just so, it's so involving to do that even if they have the money and decide to do it, the fact that they're going to split the commission with banks, they're going to split the commission with revenue, they're going to have to be compliant in different countries, makes it almost not worth their time to do. So I'll see how it goes, right? I'm just saying that again. I don't want anyone to come quote me tomorrow when they do it. I hope they do it. I hope they help us with the growth. Okay. I hope they help us because again, the awareness is good. Although I'll tell you what, I would rather have Oura do this because they help us with the growth. But then again, I don't want everyone to think that it's a payment ring on their fingers. So that's risk to my customers, believe it or not. So when someone actually wears a ring, people think it's an Oura ring, which is good because then it's safe, right? No one does anything. But when people start realizing that there are banks on that, it becomes a problem for me and my customers. So rather they not do it. If they do it, fine, so be it. But for safety, for discretion, and for safety of my customers, security of my customers, I'd rather keep us quiet, discreet. If you read this video, you go order it. But when you wear it, people still don't know what it is, which I think is what we like as a group. So take care, and I'll catch you in the next one. Again, Happy New Year, guys. Catch you in the next one. Keep those New Year resolutions going. Bye.